Dr. Scarlet Vex had analyzed thousands of species across 47 star systems, but nothing had prepared her for the human sample sitting in Quarantine Bay 7. The specimen, a muscular male named Witherspoon, sat calmly on the medical platform, his dark eyes tracking her movements through the transparent aluminum barrier. He'd been cooperative since his ship crashed on Kepler 4 3 cycles ago. Almost too cooperative. The Galactic Council had insisted on a full biological workup before allowing him to continue to Earth's embassy. Standard procedure for unregistered species. Scarlet's four manipulator arms worked in synchronized harmony as she prepared the genetic sequencer. Her chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the lab's sterile lighting as she extracted the cheek swab from the sealed container. Beside her, junior researcher Talvika Young Zenthri with brilliant azure scales monitored the equipment. "Readouts, begin standard protocol 7, Scarlet commanded, her translator converting her clicks into galactic standard. The DNA sample was deposited into the Petri dish containing the standard cultivation medium. Within moments, the cells began multiplying under the growth accelerator. Scarlet had performed this procedure 17,000 times. Cell division, genetic mapping, analysis, report, simple. Except nothing about human biology was simple. Doctor. Talvik's voice carried a tremor of confusion. The cells, they're exhibiting unusual behavior. Scarlet's compound eyes focused on the microscopic display. The human cells were dividing rapidly, far more rapidly than any carbon-based life form she'd studied. But that wasn't what made her respiratory spiracles contract with concern. The cells were moving, not the random Brownian motion expected in cellular suspension. These cells were moving with purpose, forming clusters, hunting formations. Within minutes, the Petri dish had become a microscopic battlefield. Increase magnification, Scarlet ordered, her scientific curiosity overriding her growing unease. The display zoomed in, and what she saw violated every principle of cellular biology she'd learned at the Galactic Medical Institute. Human cells were attacking each other not with the mindless competition of cancer cells, but with coordinated, almost military precision. One cluster of cells had effectively cornered another group, surrounding them, overwhelming them through sheer aggressive tactics. "This is impossible," Talvik whispered. "Cells don't hunt, run a contamination scan," Scarlet snapped. Something must have compromised the sample. While Talvik worked frantically at the console, Scarlet couldn't tear her gaze from the display. The victorious cell cluster had absorbed the defeated cells and was now moving toward another group. The pattern repeated: search, surround, overwhelm, absorb. Each victory made the dominant cluster stronger, faster, more efficient. No contamination detected. Talvik reported, "Doctor, I'm reading something else. The cells that are winning, they're evolving, adapting with each engagement." Scarlet felt a chill ripple through her body despite her thermal regulation system. How fast? Generational adaptation is occurring within minutes. By the founders, they're learning from each encounter. She activated the communication panel. "Specimen Witherspoon, we need to discuss your biology." The human's face appeared on screen, remarkably calm given the circumstances. "Something interesting, Doc. Your cells are displaying predatory behavior at a microscopic level. They're hunting each other in our cultivation medium. Is this normal for your species?" Witherspoon's lips curved into what Scarlet had learned was called a smile, though it didn't seem entirely friendly. "You didn't read the advisory file Earth sent ahead, did you?" Scarlet's manipulator arms tensed. "What advisory file?" "Humans evolved on a death world, Doctor. Earth, our planet's, it's a Class 12 hazard zone by galactic standards. Everything there is trying to kill everything else. Our oceans, our atmosphere, our continental plates. Even our moon pulls on our planet hard enough to create deadly tidal forces." He leaned forward. "We didn't just adapt to survive there. We adapted to conquer it." Talvik pulled up the stellar database. "By the void, Earth is classified as uninhabitable by Council standards. Oxygen levels alone would be toxic to most species." "How do you, that toxic oxygen?" Witherspoon interrupted. "We use it to burn fuel at a cellular level. Our mitochondria are basically tiny power plants. That would be considered weapons-grade energy sources for most species. Our cells aren't just alive, Doc. They're warriors. They've been fighting for dominance since before we crawled out of our oceans. Scarlet looked back at the Petri dish. The dominant cell cluster had effectively eliminated all competition and was now dividing peacefully, having established supremacy. But she noticed something else: the cells were now organizing, forming more complex structures even in isolation. Your cells are self-organizing into defensive formations, she observed. Even in a controlled environment, separated from the host body, immune system, Witherspoon explained. Every cell in my body is programmed to fight. Fight infections, fight cancer, fight cellular damage from our sun's radiation. Humans live under a yellow dwarf star that would require level for shielding. For most galactic species, we just evolved to handle it. Scarlet's research mind was racing. The implications are staggering. Your species' cellular structure is fundamentally aggressive. This explains why. An alarm blared through the lab. Talvik's scales paled to white. Doctor, the cells have breached the primary containment field. Scarlet's head snapped toward the cultivation chamber. Somehow, the human cells had grown through the standard barrier field, a barrier designed to contain even virulent plague strains. They were spreading across the workstation surface. Initiate sterilization protocol. Scarlet commanded. It's not working. They're resistant to. Talvik's words cut off as they watched the cells simply absorb the ultraviolet radiation, briefly glowing before continuing their expansion. Witherspoon's voice came through calmly. You might want to hit them with extreme cold. Fire doesn't work well on us, we evolved with it. But rapid temperature change can slow us down. Scarlet activated the cryosystem. Liquid nitrogen flooded the workstation. Finally, the cellular expansion halted, the human cells entering dormancy. The lab fell silent except for the hum of equipment and Talvik's rapid breathing. I need to update the Galactic Council, Scarlet said quietly, staring at the frozen human cells. They classify humans as a Class 7 species, standard biological threat level. What will you recommend? Talvik asked. Scarlet thought about Earth, a death world that had forged a species so aggressive that even their individual cells fought for dominance. A species whose biology was so efficient at survival that it bordered on weaponized evolution. Class to minimum, she finally said. And a recommendation that any species considering conflict with humanity reconsider very, very carefully. On the screen, Witherspoon's smile widened. Smart choice, Doc. If our cells are this competitive with each other, imagine what we're like when we're united against a common enemy. Scarlet didn't need to imagine. She'd just witnessed it at a microscopic level. Humanity wasn't just another species joining the galactic community. They were apex predators, refined by 4 billion years of biological warfare, now walking among the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same.